confident that all my doubts will be clear on next week. And I can see okay, I hear okay, and I'm feeling great today. Thank you. Now here is Christina. So it's your turn. This is the first questions. Okay.
Hello, my name is Cristina Romo. Feedback from the course, I think was great. I think was very clear, but I think I understand by my personal opinion, maybe a little different from what sometimes Johan said or explained, and so I have just one small doubts about the training. I can see okay, I can hear you okay, and I feel very good today. Thank you.
Now is Danilo.
Okay, Danilo, please.
How are you all? Well, my name is Danilo Gomez. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I used to work for a company that implemented this technology a few years ago, so I'm a bit acquainted with that. When you go into the training program and you read the information again, it's like, I do remember this part. Yes, this happened because of this or that, etc. So the information I've seen, it's quite familiar, but I don't feel myself an expert, of course. And I'm very happy I will be able to attend this course because I'm gonna refresh what I know and reinforce what I've learned in the past and learn new things. And I'm looking forward to meet you all and get together, growing in this knowledge and better understanders of what in reality happens when we apply this methodology. I'm feeling very well, as you can see, and well, I'm happy to be here.
Great, thank you. Just so you know, so the three of you are from Monterrey. We have one more person from Monterrey named Carlos. Are you familiar with him, Danilo?
I met him last Friday.
Okay.
No, last Monday, yes.
Okay, so he's going to be joining us. We have a lady from Guadalajara, Gabriela, I think is her name. And then we have also a person in Ken Lane from San Francisco. And we have a guy named Don from Australia coming. And I think that's 7, unless I'm missing somebody. Yeah, 7 people. So that's just up. And I'm recording the session, and I believe they're going to watch it when I post it online as a recording. So just so you know, I'm recording this. So the schedule for what we're going to do today is introductions. We just did the introductions. We'll just quickly review what we've covered so far and then discuss logistics for the course. So let's just go over what we've covered so far. What we've covered so far is we had exams, online video training, online insights, and some documents and some videos. So we had the 2 exams on mastering change and roles and styles that were online on the multiple choice. We had this intro to leading highly effective teams. These are online video trainings. Center team participants training. There's this book, Empowering Meetings. I'm not sure if you have had a chance to read this yet. Some of you might have. If you haven't, because you didn't have a chance to download the book online, get it in the digital version, we will be giving you a copy of this book during the training. So this will be part of the manual. It's only about 100 pages long, and it's very reflective of the Center Team Participants training. It's kind of the same content, except it goes into the PA side as well, explaining how to run PA meetings and explaining how PA meetings and EI meetings work within a loop, so you understand how they coexist together. 7 Sources of Conflict, which is an online training. And we had 2 insights that went along with it, the new Tower of Babel, divergent problems. We had the 11 Steps to Organizational Transformation, which was a document which kind of reflected what organizational transformation is. We had phase 3 participants training. We had that FRISA video on forging ahead, a better way to manage. Overview of the 11 steps, which was Dr. Adizes on YouTube talking about the 11 phases. He does it in about 10 minutes. It's very fast, high level. And then we had this introduction to the Adizes program for organizational transformation, which was more in depth, and that was multiple different videos explaining the 11 phases and the spreadsheet and what is falling apart and the different types of PIPs that are out there. So those are all the different content that we've covered so far. Sorry, Danilo, were you trying to show something?
No. I was just revisiting my notes.
Okay. I'll go over these quickly one at a time. But just remember that this course has got, so let's go over one at a time. The exams cover the conceptual foundations. The conceptual foundations are openly available in all of these books here. So there's a bunch of books that are available in the open market. Here's just seven of them. But there's obviously many more. And these books cover the why. They cover why do we need to manage? What is mutual trust and respect? Why is it important to have mutual trust and respect? The life cycle. This is all the theory. It doesn't go into the application. There are many applications of this theory. So we have the Adizes Graduate School, where we have people talking about and doing dissertations on how to apply this theory to medicine, to psychology, to family therapy, to one of them was how to apply this theory to playing poker. And he was talking about different styles in the poker game and how you need an eye to keep it together, and also the life cycle of a poker friendship. I mean, there's so many different applications of this theory. The core application, the one that's most developed, I would say, we spend the most time using, is applying it to organizational transformation. But that's one application of this theory that is the Adizes methodology. Now what we're going into after you pass these exams, we've gone into the organizational transformation, which is one application of this theory, and it's the Adizes program. So that's what we'll be learning, is really the how. This is the why. You've passed the exams on the why. Now we're going to go into the how to apply it to solve problems, to transform organizations, to create that culture within an organization, the process where the organization is able to proactively and constructively identify and address its own problems and opportunities without external intervention. That's organizational transformation. That's one application of this theory. Just note that we didn't examine you on the life cycle. That wasn't part. It's the third exam, and when you want to come back for the next training, which is SYNDAG training, how to do a SYNDAG, then we're going to ask you to pass the next exam, which is on life cycle. One key thing here is that, I think you'll notice that exam, multiple choice, was quite easy. If you want to become an associate and go deeper into this methodology, we do ask people after they've taken this course to come back and take a deeper course just on mastering change, roles and styles, and life cycle, to take a much deeper look and really discuss all this content. Gabriela? Can you hear us? Maybe not. Okay, I'll keep on going. So the reason why it's important to understand this theory is if you get into trouble while you're integrating a center team, they challenge you, you get into a difficult position, the answers are in these books. They're in the theory. For example, people might ask you, why are we doing this? This is a waste of time. Well, the way to answer that challenge, the way to address it is in the theory. So that's why it's important to understand the theory, is because if you get in trouble, that's where the answers are. But let's keep on going here. Another thing we asked you to do was to watch this video called Intro to Leading Highly Effective Teams. And in this, we really covered what are the 6 questions we will cover in this course that we're going to go over. So do you remember those 6 questions? They were, how does this course fit into the Adizes program for organizational transformation? So again, the only subjects we're going to cover in this course are these 6 subjects. This first subject is going to take us much of the first day. So expect most of the first day to be dedicated to covering this subject, but that's about it because we've already watched the videos. You've seen multiple videos on it. So we're just going to reinforce that and maybe discuss the doubts that Christina has or anybody else has. And that's where we're going to review the stuff we've done and go deeper into that, but it's only one day. Another question we're going to answer is, when do we need a team to solve a problem? Remember this finger. Versus when do we need an individual to solve the problem? Individual, team. And we already kind of went over that quickly. That should take us maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, not much more, because it's not very difficult to understand that. It's not a very complex issue. So maybe we'll get to that on the afternoon of the first day or the morning of the second day. Another question we're going to answer is, if we need a team, who should be on the team? And you all already know the answer to this. It's CAPI. We go by CAPI. So we'll do some exercises on how to identify CAPI and discuss CAPI a bit more, some of the more extreme situations. But really, this should only take us another 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. We're still in the morning of the second day. Another question we're going to ask is, if we need a team, what are the sources of conflict that we will have to deal with, and how do we make them constructive? You've all already seen now the video on the 7 sources of conflict. You've answered the questions. We'll go a bit deeper here and try and dissect different conflicts using the 7 different sources of conflict. So we'll try and examine different conflicts so we get that muscle, develop that muscle, so we can look at it from different angles, kind of like a prism. When you see conflict, you use this like a prism so you can see all the different colors and how to address them. But that'll probably take us maybe the rest of day 2, not much more, a couple hours there. And then the last question, I'm skipping number 5 for a second, is how to recognize different management styles and how to deal with them. That's PAI, that's styles. We'll talk about it, but this will be like something to do after lunch to get the energy up. It'll be another 2-hour thing some point during the course. I'm not quite sure when energy is low. So far we've dealt with the first day, the second day, and 2 hours some other time. But this is a 7-day course. So what are we really discussing this entire time for 7 days if we've only covered 2 days so far? Well, that is how to focus a team through the decision-making process. How to make sure everybody starts at the same point and advances on the solution together so they arrive at the same solution together. That's the challenge. That's 90% of this course is just question number 5. That's the heart of it. Okay. If you have any questions or anything, or you want to jump in, there's only very few of us. If you would like to jump in with a question or comment, feel free to do so.
Thank you.
Okay. Silence means I'll keep on going.
Yeah.
So what I'll do now is center team participants training. We already answered what are the different roles on a center team, what are the PAI roles and CAPI codes. We talked about what are the 6 different types of rules that should be defined in a meeting. And I think all of you got this correct in your homework. And here's the answer. Here's the CAPI code. Here's the PAI code. Here are the different roles to be played. And here are the types of rules. So maybe this needs some going over. This was following the analogy of soccer, where in soccer we have a clear goal. So in center teams we have a clear task. What are we trying to accomplish? And we give the people in the room more or less the CAPI to accomplish that task. We have positions in soccer, and the goalie is able to use their hands. He has special rules apply to the goalie as to everybody else. Same with the captain. The captain is allowed to approach the referee while none of the other players are. So that's the roles in the game. We have roles in our center team. And as an integrator, you will be like a goalie in that you will be allowed special rules as far as interrupting people and running the meeting. You can use your hands, in effect. We have with a field of play. We know how long a soccer field is and how wide it is. Well, that is the learning environment. We know what the room should look like when we're running a center team. We also have rules of conduct, like don't use your hands, or don't foul, or don't be offsides. Same with a center team. We have rules of conduct. Those rules of conduct will change from organization to organization. We believe in Adhesis that we have standard rules, like come on time, leave on time, hard rules, soft rules. But I want you to think of those rules as not specific for Adhesis, but rather specific for the client organization you're working with, because they often need to be adjusted to reflect the culture of the organization in which you're working. How to set up those rules, how to make them apply to the culture of the organization is what I will be showing you on the very first morning of our first day of our course. We have the soccer game is temporary. It doesn't last forever. Can you imagine a soccer game with no end time? Well, when I'm up by 1 goal, I'm going to say, okay, game over. But the moment you're up by 1 goal, you're going to say game over. We need to have a clear ending time of the game, or else people are going to fight over when do we end. So it's got to be temporary. And then, of course, we have a strategy, which is the 8-step decision-making process. So when I was asking you for the type of rules, some of you gave me different rules of conduct, like hard rules, soft rules, come on time, leave on time. Those are those all fall under this heading, rules of conduct. And just note that those rules might change for different organizational cultures. So those aren't really official Adhesis rules. Those are the rules of your organization, and that you work with a different company, you might see different rules. Make sense so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The last question I want to see here is, how is this subject related to the 6 questions covered in this course? So what does that whole video have to do with these 6 questions? Does anybody want to try and answer that? Which question do you think it applies to out of the 6 questions? Okay, should I give you guys a hint?
Yeah.
Which, out of the 7 sources of conflict, which source of conflict was made constructive through rules?
The convergent conflict.
So, which conflict?
Convergent.
Which convergent?
No. The styles conflict.
Right, the styles conflict. So the way that we make the styles conflict constructive is by having rules. So think of it this way. Think of, instead of styles conflict, think of it on a more macro scale as a cultural conflict. You know, Mexicans have a certain way of a culture. And let's just say Germans have a different culture. For example, Germans, when you say come at 5 o'clock, they're there exactly at 5 o'clock. Well, Mexicans, you know, it's plus or minus a few minutes. I'm making this up. I hope nobody gets offended. So when you have people from different cultures come together, there could be conflict because, hey, the German says we said 5 o'clock and you're not here. So what we do is, because every culture has its own rules, we establish a new set of rules specific for this culture of this room. So that way we can get rid of the previous culture of German culture versus Mexican culture. The definitions of what coming at 5 o'clock means is being defined with these rules, within the context of these rules. So this is designed to set a standard culture within the meeting environment as to what is acceptable behavior and what is not acceptable behavior, which overcomes the conflict of styles. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So that whole video that we've watched, and we ask participants in our center teams to watch as well, is all designed for one thing: to overcome the conflict of styles. Okay?
Okay.
Great. Empowering meetings was that book that I asked you to read. It's 100 pages. If you haven't read it, don't worry about it. I'll give it to you during the course. And while you'll have a lot of information during the course to read, it's okay for you to read this book even after the course is done. It's kind of a reinforcement of the course content. And again, it's only 100 pages long, big print. It's not a book, it's a guide. So, and I'll be giving that to you during the course. What it answers is, what are the two different types of meetings that an organization needs to hold and why? Do you guys know what these two are?
The two different type of means.
Yeah, implementation and make a decision.
Right. So exactly. So she said implementation, and I'm using this finger for implementation because this finger shows you dictatorship. Do what I tell you to do. As you can see, I'm pointing at you. This finger, I can't point this finger at you. This is the decision-making one, which is more democratic, which is more, hey, let's get together and let's talk. In this system, if you disagree with me, what do I say? Shut up, do what I tell you to do. That's dictatorship. In this system, if you disagree with me, I say, speak up. I want to hear more. Disagree with me more. See, shut up, speak up. There are two different types of meetings. Good management is not dictatorship, and good management is not anarchy where everybody gets to say whatever they want. Good management is democracy. In order to have democracy, we have to have a balance between dictatorship and democracy. Creating that balance is one of the, creating balance, period, in your life is one of the hardest things we do. Creating it in an organization is just as difficult. So how do you do that correctly? That's part of this book. What it's saying is, how do we correctly balance between PA meetings and EI meetings? And one of the questions was, is it a divergent or a convergent conflict? And my argument or my story is, it's a convergent conflict, democracy, because if we do this correctly and clearly identify when we're in a PA meeting, this is called PA, dictatorship is PA, versus EI meeting, where we work together, if we correctly identify through the rules, even through the field of play. So the moment I walk into the meeting room, I see by the way the meeting room is set up, by the way the chairs are arranged, I see immediately whether it's this kind of meeting or this kind of meeting, and I know how to act accordingly. That's what this book is about. What are the fundamental differences in how these meetings should be run? All those rules that we talked about here, the outline of the book is we explain the difference between this type of meeting and this type of meeting. And then we go through each type of meeting and describe what is the task, what is the CAPI, what is the roles, the positions of the field, what is the learning environment like, how's it different, what are the rules of conduct. The rules of conduct are very different in these two different types of meetings, as is the 8 steps. We have 8 steps for decision making, but there's a whole different process or strategy for implementation. So we go through and discuss the best practices according to these different rules for these different types of meetings. How is this subject related to the 6 questions covered in the course? Well, it goes over when should we solve a problem using a team, and when should we solve a problem using an individual? It covers that. And also covers the bigger picture a little bit of how do you balance PA and EI, which would be number 1, and kind of goes into the rules, which is how to make styles constructive. So it's kind of all over the map on these questions. Any comments so far?
No, fine.
The next one was the 7 sources of conflict, and the 2 insights related to it, which was the new Tower of Babel and divergent problems. You guys all got the 7 sources of conflict?
Mhm.
Right? Now, just realize that definitions, we can, if we, look, every conflict is going to be divergent until we find the way to make it convergent. Definitions, the way to make it convergent is to share information, to create new words like uha, muha, buha, get them to define their terms, which is, by the way, very annoying to the client. They don't like it. But you constantly trying to get them to define their terms so we can converge on one definition. Same with perceptions. We make them aware we're talking about is right now, not want or should, or we're talking about want right now, not is or should. If we can get them to understand that we're talking about which subject is, want, or should, we can converge them on that discussion. But a roles conflict, we cannot converge them because we'll never find a solution that is both short-term and long-term and efficient and effective. It's about finding the right balance. And there's many different places to find the right balance within the spectrum that people can disagree forever. There's no trick we can do to make them totally agree on one thing. So that's a divergent conflict. Styles is a convergent conflict only if we're able to make a standard rules of conduct that everybody abides by. If we can create those rules, not just rules of conduct, but positions and timeline and strategy, and if we can deal with all those different rules we outlined and get everybody to agree on them, we can make this conflict of styles actually convergent in everybody realizing, okay, this is an EI meeting. We're using EI rules, and we're using these rules so people understand what's going on, and they can converge on one style of meetings. Democracy, is this convergent or divergent? Well, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a conflict between democracy and dictatorship, but if we're very clear whether we're in a democracy room or dictatorship room, people will all follow suit and say, okay, we're in dictatorship, I'll shut up and take notes and do what I'm told. Oh, we're in democracy, I'll speak up and disagree with the boss. So that's also a convergent conflict if we handle it right.
Okay.
Interests is sorry, is there a question there or a comment?
No.
Interest would be a divergent conflict because there's no way we're going to find a solution, or there's nothing I can say to make your interests fully match with mine. It's impossible. I can try and manipulate you, try and show you how your interests are really my interests, but you'll see through that, or at least in the long run, it'll become clear. So that's a divergent conflict. Values, it's a discussion question. Is that divergent or convergent? I would say divergent, only because it's kind of hard to deal with, but there are methodologies out there like spiral dynamics and other ways of looking at value systems which might argue otherwise. So I really don't have an answer for number 7. And we can discuss that during the course if you guys like.
It will be interesting.
It'll be interesting, yeah. So how is this subject related to the 6 questions? I think it's pretty obvious. It's talking about the 7 sources of conflict, which was question, I believe, number 3.
No, number 2, no. There's 4.
Number 4. Okay.
Well, I'm looking at the mail.
Sorry?
I was looking at the mail, not the first. No.
Okay. Well, here it is. If we need a team, what are the sources of conflict? Number 4. You're right.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about the new Tower of Babel. You guys remember the joke about, oh, that's what I wanted. Remember circumcision versus castration?
Come on.
So that joke is obviously illustrating the conflict of definitions, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then divergent problems versus convergent problems. I think everybody understood that, and in their homework at least, it seemed like you guys got that, so I'll just move on unless there's any questions or comments.
No.
Okay, the 11 steps to organizational transformation document. It defines what is organizational transformation. All of you got that right. It defines what causes problems and opportunities, specifically what is falling apart.
Yeah.
And so that's really, what is this related to? It's related to question number 1. How does this fit into the bigger picture of organizational transformation?
Okay.
Phase 3 participants training. It's important for us to understand both, if we're learning right now in this course, phase 2, which is the process. But we also have to understand phase 3 and phase 1 because phase 1 creates phase 3 and phase 3 creates phase 2. So you have to understand how they're all interconnected. That's the purpose of this part here. And it's also dealing with the bigger picture of what is organizational transformation, which is question number 1. So I think everybody understood the primary purpose of a POC, the function. Everybody answered this very well. The air traffic control, very good. How's a POC similar to a stockbroker? You all got that very well. And you all saw how this is related to the 6 questions. It's question number 1, how does this course fit into organizational transformation? So I'll jump to the next one. So there was this video about FISA, and it's got like I would call it, some people call it the propaganda video. So that's, do you guys all have a chance to watch that one?
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of that? Is just to show you show you what it feels like when you have, best in class organizational transformation process. They've been doing it for like 30 years. And it's designed just to help reinforce the 11 steps, SYNDAG, POC, Center teams, structure, mission, all those different phases, and how they result in organizational transformation, which was really shown with the hurricane. When the hurricane came in, and then they took it upon themselves to clean up without hierarchy, that's a sign of organizational transformation, because they were able to proactively and constructively identify their problems, huge flooding, and address them, cleaning them up without anybody telling them, hey, show up and clean up. They did it on their own. They brought their families, they brought their buckets, they brought their own shovels. That's the idea of that video.
Yeah.
So here's the introduction to the Adizes program for organizational transformation. I think this is a important one. I know it was long and perhaps boring, but it explained what organizational transformation is in a little more detail. It really went over the same content as the 11 steps to organizational transformation document. The reason I created this video, which was sort of a latecomer to the preparation material, is because people still didn't really get the details of what is organizational transformation, what are the different PIPs. So they had a little trouble with it, so I made this video to go even deeper. I hope it wasn't repetitive for you. What is a PIP? Potential improvement point. What causes PIPs? It's change, but change causes disintegration, which causes things to fall apart. The moment something falls apart, that's when you have a problem. Look at any problem in the world, and something is falling apart. Even climate change. What is falling apart? What's falling apart is our ability to adapt to our changing environment, because the environment is always changing. The weather's always been changing. But our ability to adapt is no longer fast enough, because the change in the weather is happening faster and faster and faster. So what's happening is the speed of the weather's change versus the speed of our ability to adapt to that change is now falling apart, creating the problem known as climate change. It's a gap between our different abilities, our ability to change versus the speed at which the environment is changing. And I leave out any discussion of, is it man-made or not, because who cares? The real issue is we are not adapting fast enough because the world's changing faster and faster. And there's 2 ways to solve it. One is adapt faster. Another one is slow down the change in the environment. What are the different types of PIPs that exist? We talked about there's behavioral PIPs, people falling apart. There's structural PIPs, which was, I thought I was in charge, but things have changed. Now I don't know where my authority lies versus your authority. There's mission and vision, strategy. We thought we were going in this direction, but now there's a new opportunity. We split directions. There's process PIPs. How do we go about identifying and addressing our problems and opportunities? Managerial process. When we're a small company versus now that as things change, that process changes. There was the symptoms and the manifestations. I think you all remember it. I won't go to it too much detail right now. What are the different phases of the Adizes program? So we went over that in some detail in the 11 steps document, a little bit more detail in this document, this video. Just so you know, I do have a 32-page document that I'll be giving you. It's called the phase summaries. And it's going to explain in much more detail what each phase is, what problems it solves, how it aims to accomplish it, what is the process used. So you can look forward to getting that as sort of additional material to read if you want to go deeper into what each phase does specifically. Here's the spreadsheet. And I think you all saw this in the video and explains, we went over the different phases and how they apply. So that's all the material we've covered so far. Any questions on that material? Comments, doubts?
No, it's complete. For me, it's very complete.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, great, thank you. So now we'll just go into the next subject. We're almost done here, which is logistics. Where will the training take place? It'll take place in our offices in Santa Barbara. It's 1212 Mark Avenue. We're located on top in an avocado orchard. So if you can imagine, when you walk out the doors, there'll just be trees everywhere with avocados. You can go for a walk and see beautiful plants and birds and animals. It's not a traditional office environment. With that said, I welcome you. I'm jumping to dress. To feel free to bring some more casual clothes. We'll be together for 7 days. I wouldn't say shorts and a t-shirt. I know, dress with pants and I'm talking for men now. You know, pants but jeans are okay. Tennis shoes are okay. In fact, what I'd like to do is on a few of the days, as long as the weather's nice and it's California, you can almost bet on it. We haven't had rain in 6 years, but I am praying for rain. But as long as there's no rain, might be able to take lunch off and drive to the beach. So maybe bring sandals or something you feel comfortable wearing at the beach.
Is there a place to dive there?
There is a place to dive, and it'll be kind of there's plenty of places to dive, but we have a very nice place, which is about a 3-hour boat ride. So it's kind of a bit of a trek. But we can set you up with that. We have beautiful islands off of our coast that are called the Galapagos of the North Pacific. It was one of Jacques Cousteau's favorite diving places. And they're 22 miles off the coast. You can see them from our balcony, the islands, and we can take a look at for the day off, which is going to be Sunday. So we're going to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday will work as well. Sunday will be your free day. Then work Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday will end early around 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Oh.
So that's the schedule. So Wednesday you show up. We work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. And we work Monday, Tuesday, and then half day Wednesday.
Okay.
We will be providing you with lunch and like breakfast. You can tell me, let me know what you like for breakfast. Here's my idea for breakfast. You tell me if it works for you or you'd like something else. What I designed for breakfast is like 2 different kinds of yogurt, plain yogurt and maybe like a peach yogurt. And then we have granola and different types of cereal. So you kind of get yogurt, add the cereal, and then some fruit like strawberries and blueberries, and then maybe some some teas, orange juice, bagels, cream cheese, croissants, and that's kind of the breakfast I expect to get you guys. Sound okay, or is there any special requests?
No,
Right.
it sounds okay. Maybe hard eggs.
Hard egg, okay.
And
Say again?
you didn't put any timings here. At what time are we going to be having breakfast and then starting?
Okay, so we'll start at 9 a.m.
Okay.
So breakfast will be ready at 8:30. So you can come in anytime after 8:30 to the office, hang out, have breakfast, and then we're going to finish every day around 5:30. And you expect lunch like more California style than Mexican style. So like 12:31, not 3.
Okay.
And lunch will be like sandwiches from we'll have a menu and we'll order it, and then one of the people in the office will go pick it up for us, bring it to the office, and if we have time, we'll run out to the beach, which is a 5-minute drive from the office, and we can spend like an hour there, relax, hopefully in the sun, enjoy. I mean, just so you know, we're not talking bikinis here. We're not talking the ocean is cold, and the weather, even though it's still kind of summer, it might not be, so you're still going to wear, maybe even a jacket and a sweater at the beach. Okay. Sorry, Elena, did you have a comment about breakfast?
Yeah, more fruit like apple or watermelon, papaya, something like that. Maybe.
Got it. Anybody else? Sorry, Gabriela, in Guadalajara, we can't hear you. I think you're on mute. No, still we can't hear you. Maybe you want to use the chat function. There's a chat function. You can chat. Where's the chat?
It's in the left corner down.
Yeah.
No, you're mute.
I have it open here. You can hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah? Okay.
Hear you.
Did you have something to add for breakfast?
No, for me it's okay. I'm
Okay.
fine with fruit and yogurt.
Okay. Sorry, let me. Okay, so let me just make sure. Okay, what hotels? Do you guys already have your hotels booked? What hotels are you at? Maybe we could just. 4 of you are coming from Monterrey, 1 from Guadalajara. So maybe we can try and coordinate. Do you have your transportation taken care of? Let's just start with transportation from the airport to Santa Barbara. Is that all taken care of? We need a carpool and organize carpooling.
No, I will be renting a car.
I didn't hear you. Sorry, Daniel.
I will be renting a car.
We'll be renting a car. Okay.
Because I'm flying to Los Angeles.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm flying to Los Angeles, and I was expecting to maybe catch a taxi or a shuttle or something.
What time do you arrive in Los Angeles?
Like 11 o'clock, 11:30, something like that.
PM in the evening?
Huh?
11:30 evening or midday?
No, evening.
Evening. So 11:30 PM on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday. And what time are you guys arriving? Anybody arriving around that time? Late night?
No, I will be arriving much more earlier than that. Let me check, please.
We'll be arriving at 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
We're renting a car also.
Renting a car. Okay. What hotel are you staying at, Elena?
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn. Okay. And Danilo, what hotel are you in?
I am in Holiday Inn too, but they told me they didn't have room for the 21.
Okay, so you're moving one day.
Friday, right? We have the same problem.
The same problem.
Booking
It's like a party or something because it's already all booked.
So you're good until Friday. We have to find you a different place Friday night?
No, I have already booked into another hotel.
Okay. And you too, Elena?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm staying in the Best Western.
okay.
The whole week?
Yes.
Okay. The Best Western is very close to the Holiday Inn, so we should be able to coordinate transportation for you. So we can pick you up and everything. I will pick you up on the first day.
Okay.
Okay. So I will come get you, let's say at 8:15 a.m. from the Best Western.
Okay. Yes.
That's the Best Western in Carpinteria, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll pick you up that day and we can coordinate other rides for the rest of the time. As far as you getting up, I would recommend at that time of the night, maybe the best option is to take an Uber.
Okay.
I would check Santa Barbara Airbus is another option, but I think that time of night, it's already the end of all their, it's the end of their, they have nothing else at that time, you know?
Okay.
I think that you can check Santa Barbara Airbus,
Uh-huh.
but that's like $50 for the Airbus, and you could take an Uber for like $100. So it's kind of not, it's, all I know is we've had people take Uber before, and they said it was very fast, easy, and not that expensive. The only problem is you can't order an Uber to the airport. You might have to take the bus out of the airport to a place where you can pick up an Uber.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're gonna be arriving to LA, Gabriela, or to Santa Barbara?
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm arriving in Los Angeles, LA.
LA. At 11 something in the night?
Sorry?
At 11 and something in the night?
Yes.
So how long is it going to take her from the airport to Santa Barbara or to the...
It's expected to be an hour and a half drive, maybe if you leave in the middle of the night like that, Gabriel, it'll be less time because there'll be no traffic. So maybe an hour, hour 15. So, but so you're going to get in very late. You'll be in probably 11:30. By the time you get out of the airport, it's already 12:30. You know, customs and everything.
Yeah.
You'll be arriving at 1:32 in the morning.
Okay.
So get some rest on the airplane, okay?
Yes.
I will be arriving to LA at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I will be in Santa Barbara about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30, maybe 6.
Okay, great. Okay, sounds like you'll be able to see each other in the hotel there, in the Holiday Inn. Feel free to give me a call if you guys need any help with, you have my, let me give you my cell phone number. It's 805 +1 805 452 3788.
805-452-3788.
Right, that's my cell phone number. If you have any trouble, just give me a call. I'll be around, and I'll pick up Gabriela at 8:15 on Wednesday morning.
Okay, it's Gris.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Griselda.
Griselda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Griselda. Maybe you should consider changing your flight so you can be earlier, because you're going to be very tired from the flight and then from the night.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to check this.
Okay, so we have the dress, right? Transportation.
So you said jeans are okay.
Jeans are okay.
T-shirts are okay.
T-shirts are okay. I think maybe better is to wear like polos, you know, with the collars.
Yeah.
But not just T-shirt, but more like polo or button down. That's fine, but definitely not suit, definitely not ties, definitely not dress shoes. Okay? We're going to be together for 7 days, so let's be comfortable.
And the weather, I've been watching, it's about 60, which is equivalent to 13, 14 degrees in Celsius. It's quite fresh or cold.
That's very cold for Santa Barbara. Very cold.
So you recommend some small jacket, sweater?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah, bring jacket, bring...
That's why you say no bikinis, because we won't be able to get into the sea.
Right. You won't be getting wet. And, you know, people, I'm afraid you're thinking, oh, beach, Santa Barbara, it's just like Cancun. Totally different.
No. Of course not.
Yeah. What to bring? As far as what to bring, definitely bring a computer. So, you know, I think that's important. We will provide you with all of your notepads, manuals, books, that kind of stuff. So don't have to worry about that.
Will that be provided electronically too?
Oh, yes, we can. It's very easy to provide electronically, but mostly we're also going to give it to you in, you know, actual books, printed out versions.
Yes, because if there are going to be a lot of books, when you travel back, you have to carry some extra luggage, extra space in your...
Right.
Okay.
It's really just 2 books. There's the 2 manuals. One's about this thick. It's like 300 pages. And the other one is just an inch binder, 1-inch binder.
Okay.
So nothing too significant. So yeah, definitely bring a little bit of extra space. Everybody that comes here, they want to go shopping because we actually have good shopping here. So extra space for that as well. Maybe on Sunday or one of the evenings, we can arrange to have you go down to the outlets, which is kind of a big attraction around here. Any questions? Any other issues? Logistics?
No?
Okay. Well, let's just go around and do last comments. So we'll start with Griselda. Just any last comments before we finish up? We'll give you the last word. When you're done, you can pass to Danilo, and then we'll go Elena, and then we'll go Christina.
Okay. No, well, just that I'm very happy and I'm looking forward to see you next week. Thanks.
Pass to Elena. Sorry, Danilo. Sorry, Danilo.
Everything is fine. This last weeks for me has been very hard, strong. I've been studying a lot. And I am more than happy to be there because I have a lot of questions, comments to add, I hope. And please, Elena.
Thank you, Danilo. I'm fine. I'm looking forward to be there. And I think it's gonna be a kind of heavy or hard, a lot of information also to get, but I think it will be a great week with you guys.
Thank you. I'm excited about the next week, and also I have doubts, but I think it will be very, very a hard week, like Elena said, because it's a lot of information, and we almost study a lot of the last month. But I'm happy to practice, to know anybody opinions or how they live Adiz's methodology in their companies and kind of that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much. We'll see you, I guess, on Wednesday. And feel free to give me a call if you need anything or have trouble finding the office or any problems.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Nice talking to you all and meet you by this way.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.